We have such sights to show you.
Hi, everybody. I'm the drunk kitten Tribbles. Welcome to Ultimate Radio Show, right here on YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, and I hope you all brought some beers.
Come on, baby! Bring it up!
Way back in the early 70s, when Ronnie Montrose on guitar and Bill Church on bass left the Van Morrison Band and went to San Francisco, they found a young singer by the name of Sammy Hagar and formed the band Montrose, which became the defining sound of hard rock in America. Hi everybody, I am the High Command and I'm here today with the drunk kitten Tribbles.
Hi, everybody. Hey, boss. Yeah, back in those days, most of the hard rock bands were from England, like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. But hey, where are you going with this?
Well, Kitten, after Bill Church and Sammy Hagar left Montrose, Ronnie Montrose continued on with a new band called Gamma, which continued down the hard rock road. Well, my contention with this show is that even though, Ronnie was a hard rock guy, well, sometimes these guys will do a song that is totally, completely different than anything they've ever done. And you'd have a hard time telling it was Ronnie Montrose. Now, the first one I want to get into is one he did years later, and it's pretty interesting.
All right, boss. Yeah. Hey, I did get the memo on this show. Yeah, the name of this song is My Little Mystery.
All right, Kitten. Yeah, that is the song. Notably, our friend Jim Elsevier, who played synth for Ronnie in the band Gamma, his father, Bob, who was a 60s, just like uber professional arranger, actually did the orchestral arrangement on this song. My Little Mystery, quite different from the stuff Ronnie did in the past. This Open Fire album is notable for several reasons. First of all, Ronnie used to play in the Edgar Winter Band, and Edgar Winter had actually produced this album and played some keyboards on it, along with Jim Elsevier from Gamma. Also notably, Rick Schlosser on drums. Rick's a friend of mine. I talk to him off and on. He actually played drums for Van Morrison. Alan Fitzgerald playing bass. Alan is almost a hired gun from back then. He plays in a project with our friend Robert Berry, off and on, called Alliance. He's played with Sammy Hagar. He's also a founding member of the band Night Ranger. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here, folks.
Right, boss, and like you said, Bob Elsevier did the arrangement, the orchestral arrangement on that song. Yeah, Jim Elsevier sent us a whole bunch of pictures. His dad used to work with bands like The Fifth Dimension and The Association in the 60s.
All right, Kitten, since this show is about improbables in music, let's take Black Sabbath, known for their bone-crushing riffs, precursor to heavy metal, hard rock band. Well, this song is kind of an anomaly. First of all, it features Tony Iommi, their guitarist, on a 12-string guitar, and one of the very rare times that this band is actually used in orchestra.
All right, boss. Yeah, this is from the Black Sabbath fourth album done in 1972. And Tony Iommi said it actually was inspired by a sunrise he saw in Laguna Beach, California.
Right, Kitten, you know, that's an actual Laguna Beach sunrise. And at low tide, you could actually fish off those rocks. And I've done it many times in the past. It truly is a breathtaking place. All right, Laguna Sunrise. The third improbable we want to get into is by one of the wonder kids of the early neoclassical guitar days. You had people like Yngwie Malmsteen, you know, the super shredders. Jason Becker was one of them until he was tragically struck with Lou Gehrig's disease. Now here's a quick sample of what he sounded like before.
At the age of 16, Jason and his friend Marty Friedman, a fellow shredder, were signed to a contract by Shrapnel Records.
Jason also did some solo work and did some work with David Lee Roth on an album until 1990 when he was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. Gradually, he became more and more disabled to a point where he couldn't walk, he couldn't play, couldn't talk. His father actually designed software allowing him to use his eyes to communicate and also to compose music, which he still does to this day. This is one of his earlier works from when he first became disabled.
This is from an album called Perspective. It was released in 1996, 6 years after doctors gave Jason Becker only 5 years to live.
All right, yeah, Jason Becker and his song Higher. Yeah, a few musical anomalies there for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this show. I kind of like pointing out the kind of weird ebbs and flows in music, pertaining to different things, and I thought this was probably a pretty interesting show to do. But hey, I'm going to grab that kitten and get a beer. It's going to get really hot in Vegas today. See you on the next one, folks.